I really don't feel worthy of this press conference. I didn't run very well. I didn't jump very well. I'll do my best to answer the questions the best I could, best I can. So let's fire away.
You have a question, go ahead and raise your hand, please.
Yes.
We've had a chance to see Jayden, and he looks like obviously he looks like an NFL-ready prospect. What's the one thing that he needs to do or work on, perhaps, if he wants to be able to succeed at the next level?
Well, look, I think the NFL is all about, making that next step, that transition. It's there's no longer the other piece, the academics. It's a full-time job. So, you've got to be able to flip the switch now and, commit yourself, which he has done here. He's treated himself like a pro in a sense of his commitment. But now you've got to be able to switch yourself to, 100% focused on a job. And sometimes that's a bit of a transition. You're on your own now, and it's 100% focused on a job. In terms of the athletic ability, in terms of his ability to master the skill set of playing quarterback, I think we saw today he's 210 pounds. He's put on weight. I think he's going to do just fine when it comes to the skill set and the athleticism. It's just making that natural transition into an NFL locker room.
Hey, Coach. Brett Martell with AP. Quick NIL question. Do you think that it's making it, and I realize Thomas and Nabers are exceptions here, but is it helping coaches or programs in any way retain underclassmen who might otherwise have been inclined to declare earlier?
Well, I think there's a wide variance there. You bring up Malik Nabers and Brian Thomas. Those guys are first-round draft picks, right? So you're talking about signing bonuses that are, upwards of $15 million. NIL is not going to, keep you in school for that. But I think it can influence those guys that are on the fence relative to, are you a fourth or a fifth round draft pick or even free agents? NIL can certainly, I think, make a difference there. So yes, in answering your question, I think NIL has helped lessen the burden of deciding, hey, I need to go to the NFL, I need to make money, because NIL is helping me and making it easier for me to be a student athlete.
So, Coach, there are obviously the guys that are going to be the first-round talents, but what do you have to say about guys like Omar Speights and Mekhi Wingo who helped their draft stock today and kind of what preparations and how they've improved?
Yeah, that's what pro days are for, right? I mean, these are the opportunities to not only use the film that you have, but, to back it up with the athleticism. They both had great days. Mekhi was great, obviously, in the shuttle, and, his short field quickness is obviously one of the things that you see on film, and now, back that up with the skill. Omar ran extremely well. I thought all the guys tested extremely well today. I think Charles had a hamstring issue, which limited him in some of the position work, but across the board, I thought the guys did a great job. They were in great shape. They've trained real hard. This is important to them. We want our guys to graduate. We want them to do well in school, and then now this is the other part of it, and that they were very well prepared.
Coach, Jayden kind of proved himself on the field last season. Do you think that there's anything that can boost him even more than what he's already at? I mean, he's had all the accolades and everything else. Can he do anything more?
I think we're at that point now where, I think this was the last kind of check the box for head coaches, GMs, those decision makers in terms of who are going to make those final say on the quarterback. I think probably today was that last day for him. He'll continue to work out. He'll continue probably to have interviews along the way, but I think that the hay's in the barn, so to speak, as it relates to the evaluation process of Jayden Daniels. I think he left no stone unturned today with the performance that he had today throwing the football.
Coach, right down here. You mentioned a lot of times during the season what Makai brought to this locker room. Can you expound upon it a little bit more and just what, NFL GMs can expect, what they're going to get, not only on the field, but inside that locker room?
Yeah, so look, I mean, the National Football League is looking for contributors on the field and guys that they can trust in the locker room that are going to represent their franchise in the right way. Obviously, you know what he did. He wore number 18, which is emblematic of a leader both in the locker room and, in our community. And certainly they're going to get that kind of guy. So, when you're drafting and you know that you've got a guy that can help you on the field and is going to represent your organization in the community and be respected in the locker room, that's an easier guy to advocate for when you're talking about, do we take him in the, this round or that round? And so that definitely helps your draft status.
Ryan, down here, Malik's numbers today really spoke to his explosiveness. In what ways does that separate him as a receiver?
Well, look, I mean, we could talk about numbers and all the things that are important, but, physicality and the ability to separate from great players on both sides of the ball, there has to be something that you look for. And when you watch film, you see him separate from great players in the SEC. Today, you saw a 42-inch vertical, and then you see 4.3, and you go, okay, I get it. This ability to separate on the field is now backed up by the physical prowess that we see with a 42-inch vertical and a 4.3. So I think what it does is it validates what you see on film is that it's backed up with great physical traits. And I think what it does more than anything else is it shows that he can separate with the ball in his hands. He can be explosive after the catch. And now again, I think it comes down to, who's the kind of guy that you want to get the ball in their hands. And, I've seen him. I'm certainly going to advocate on his behalf. I don't think there's a better receiver in the country.
Hey, Coach, right over here. Today was probably the biggest day in terms of numbers you guys have had at a pro day in your 3 years here. What do you think a day like today does for the program, guys on the current roster, just watching that, and then the future of the program as well?
Yeah, I think there's a few levels. First of all, the one thing that you mentioned is, we had, a lot of national television here, the NFL Network, ESPN, obviously getting that kind of notoriety for LSU and for the football program certainly is, very good for, your program and how you move forward relative to the recruiting. And certainly for our young guys, they get a chance to see what it's like. It's a job interview in many ways, and how you need to prepare, for that job interview. And I think our guys did a great job preparing for that job interview today. So they get a chance to see that. And then I think finally, the entire country got a chance to see, elite players and what that looks like. And LSU has done a great job over the years of developing elite players. So I think on three levels we got a chance to see that today.
Coach, so Jayden Daniels, obviously, we know what kind of player he is, and he's putting himself in the position where he's at now, but just see what he was able to do today and just represent Greg, wear the number 3, and just pay tribute to him, which just kind of speaks volumes, I guess, as far as what kind of leader he is, what kind of teammate he is, right? Yeah,
again, I think it goes to the kind of character that he is. He's thinking other-centered. He's thinking outside of just Jayden Daniels. He's thinking about one of his teammates that he holds in high regard. And that's the way he's been since he's gotten here. Whether it's, sharing the success that he's had, with, NIL. He took care of the team with headphones. I mean, it's just these little things that he does that maybe doesn't get appreciated, but he's always thinking about his teammates first. That throwing that we saw today, he brought in, teammates so they could get a chance to be seen today in front of a number of scouts. So And maybe that's maybe not the reason you do that, but it was for him. You know, he wanted to showcase some other guys today, and he certainly did that. But that's Jayden Daniels.
What questions have NFL teams had for you about Jayden, and what has your message been to them?
You know, it's interesting. There's very few questions about he can't do this or he can't do that. I think it's more, will he slide? Will he get down? I think that's, and what I said to them is, look, you have a guy who's incredibly tough and competitive. No one more so than the guy that I saw get hit in the Alabama game and come back the next week out of the concussion protocol and set an NCAA record the next week. That to me speaks to his toughness, and he's a smart guy. He's figured this thing out. So that's been really the biggest question. It hasn't been anything about, you know, can he pick up the safety reads? Can he, you know, pick up blitz protections? Can he do those things? They see that on film. It's, Coach, will he protect himself? And I'm sure he will. Thank you.